There were contradictions in testimony during the case of 510 police officers at the Johannesburg Magistrates Court today. Lieutenant Colonel Leandreo Pillay denied giving instructions for confiscated goods to be released, but his testimony was dismissed by his colleague who was on duty during the raids. The officers were arrested after they allegedly resold the goods. They were released on a warning.
Where we going?
All right, moving on to other news. There were reports last month that Gavin Watson could face criminal charges, with a public protector ordering that he be probed. There were reports that a transcript from an interview that he had with advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane and the former Bosasa boss shows that Watson battled to answer on whether he had also donated money to the Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma campaign in the run-up to the ANC elective conference in December of 2017. Now, his 500,000 rand donation towards the CR17 campaign, the Ramaphosa presidential campaign machinery, landed the president in hot water, with the public protector Mkhwebane finding in a report that Ramaphosa deliberately misled Parliament. Well, let's talk about this now with legal analyst Ulrich Roux of Ulrich Roux and Associates. He joins us now on the line. Ulrich, a very good evening to you, and thank you so much for speaking to us. So, lots of questions. What would you say is top of mind when we see the latest news of Watson's death and what it means for the Zondo Commission?
Hi, good evening. I think I read a heading today which says that dead men tell no lies and Watson knew a lot, which I think rings quite true in this instance. I think there was a lot of information that he could have shed some light on, subsequent to especially Angelo Grizi's testimony during the state capture inquiry, which unfortunately we will now never hear his side of the story, and whether the allegations levelled against him of large-scale corruption spanning over decades and will now be left untested. Certainly the allegations levelled against him in his personal capacity. And that could, unfortunately be the status quo, given that he has passed away today.
Those were the most significant, would you say? As I mentioned, obviously there's Zondo Commission, but there's been lots of speculation about what could have happened, including some saying that as early as tomorrow, Watson was supposed to face some sort of charge or hearing on tax evasion. What was the most pressing of those allegations?
No, I do think that obviously the 500,000 rand, speculative donation to the CR17 campaign certainly raised quite a number of red flags. The presidency coming out and saying that it was a payment made in lieu of services rendered, and obviously the other political parties coming forward and saying that that was not the case at all. But I do think that the allegations made during the state capture inquiry by Angelo Grizi. Remember that he is a former COO, and one can see him as a person who blew the lid and who blew the whistle on the entire Bosasa scandal. Massive revelations pertaining to corruption and payment towards people in high positions and in positions of authority in order to, have favours returned to them, in order to win tenders, and in order to earn substantial amounts of money. And if one has to go on the testimony of Angelo Grizi, that this was all unwarranted and done so in a corrupt manner. And as I said, there's now a lot of speculation pertaining to his death and what the causes are of that. I think that it remains speculation until proven otherwise, and until there is any proof. I see a lot of people are coming out already saying that there was foul play involved. But if there is no proof, then I think that is exactly what it remains. It remains speculation. And unfortunately, he will not be able to provide more insight and more clarity pertaining to all of this.
I think, Ulrich, when you're asking just how close was he to not only facing charges, I mentioned in my introduction that the public protector had said that he needs to be probed, especially in relation to this R500,000 donation that was made and other allegations which you yourself have alluded to. But do we know how far that process is?
No, not at all. I think that is what it remains. It's purely what Busisiwe and Kobani said, but there's no report out as yet confirming that. One would have to wait and see if the public protector now does issue a report pertaining to that specific issue and how much information was garnered. One also doesn't know whether she's interviewed him or not, or whether she's got his version on record. So
what does this mean for those allegations made by Angela Agritzi at the Zondo Commission? Does the burden of proof now fall on him, given the fact that we now know that Gavin Watson is dead?
Well, that is the most pressing question. Obviously, I think subsequent to Agritzi's testimony, there was talk, and there certainly a lot of people anticipated possible criminal charges being laid, not only against Gavin Watson, but against other people implicated in during the state capture inquiry. But of course, only provided that there's sufficient evidence to prosecute those people. The fact of the matter now is that Gavin Watson will never be prosecuted, and criminal charges cannot be pursued against him because he has passed away. Our law, if allegations are made against a person and he is accused and charged of having committed a crime, then his guilt must be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. That can only be done if he is being given an opportunity to state his case and to put his defense forward, and that will now not happen.
Just a quick and final question. I know the South African Human Rights Commission were pursuing hate speech crimes or charges against him and his family for the release of that video where Angela Agritzi is seen using hate speech. Could the family still be pursued?
Well, only if they are implicated directly and only if there's evidence to prove that they are also guilty of hate speech. But once again, one cannot pursue a dead person in a criminal charge and also in one of hate speech. It's not a damages claim. So certainly the charges against Gavin Watson will not be pursued. If anyone else is implicated and there's proof, then that could be pursued, yes.
All right. Thanks a lot, Ulrich. Legal analyst Ulrich Roux of Ulrich Roux and Associates.